Hello, and thank you so much for joining me for Warrenist Live. I'm Crystal, and what we do here on Warrenist Live is that we celebrate the arts, culture, lifestyle, and people of Warren County, North Carolina, and beyond. So before we get started, be sure to like, comment, share this video so we can share with the world all the amazing things that are happening right here in Warren County, the people, the things, the events, everything. Okay. All right. So my guest today is John DuVall. He is an actor, an artist, the managing artistic director of Lakeland Cultural Arts Center in Littleton, North Carolina, and he is the director for the upcoming live theater production, Walter Cronkite is Dead, which will take place at the Frontier Warren co-working space located right here in Warrenton on Friday, April 30th, and Saturday, May 1st. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did. Perfect.
Okay, all right. And he's here to tell us today all about it. Thank you so much for joining me on the Warren Slide today, John. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. All right, so let's get right into it. So you're originally from Ohio, is that correct?
Toledo, Ohio. Yep, right at the northernmost point of Ohio.
Yeah. Okay. And so what did you do there? Like how long did you live in Ohio?
All my life. I'm over 50 years old, so I spent my entire life there. Luckily, mostly doing work in or about the arts, either on stage or backstage. Interior designer, floral designer. I started my own theater company. I've been doing community theater since the 6th grade. Done some professional works, commercials, independent films, and then moved down here about going on 3 years now. In July, it'll be 3 years.
All right, awesome. All right, so you say you started in I guess you got the acting bug in the 6th grade.
That's right. That's right. I started a summer workshop program. Just stopped by on my bike, and it changed my life. I truly believe a life in the arts has so many benefits, and it's essential that we teach our young kids, our students, our children to appreciate the arts, because there's so much they can learn from it.
Right. So are you the only one, I say, like in your immediate family that's involved in the arts?
Well, it's funny you say that. So when my parents moved down here to Raleigh about 30 years ago, about 12 years ago, they built their retirement home on Lake Gaston, and looking for something to do, they joined Lakeland Cultural Arts Center as volunteers. My dad quickly became the set builder and kind of the tech guru of building sets, and my mom became a set painter and painting some of the advertisements and marketing signs. So up until about 12 years ago, I would say yes, it was just me, but oddly late in life, my parents have also come to know the joy of live theater.
All right, so you inspired them.
I'd like to say that, yes. I would tell them you said that.
Please do. Okay, so you said that you performed and directed and produced, what, over 30 productions?
More like over 50. I should sit down and write them all down. Although since 6th grade, you tend to forget things. So, but the last time I counted, yeah, it was right around 50 productions, and that includes staged readings, which is what we're getting ready to mount now. So full, entirely staged shows, some smaller readings, but yeah, I would say over 50.
Wow, that's amazing. So do you have a favorite amongst those?
Oh gosh. I would say some of my top favorites, I was Vanya in Vanya, Sasha, Masha, and Spike. Hosanna, where I played an aging Canadian drag queen. That was a challenge.
Okay.
And I love Shakespeare. I love the challenge of bringing meaning to the words, and especially meaning that conveys to the audience. So I've been lucky to do some Shakespeare, and I'm looking to do more. But I mean, you learn something from every role that you portray. So, but those would be my tops.
Okay, awesome. So I always hear about like the superstitions, the rituals, the things you do before production, or things you
Right.
don't do
Right.
before production. How do you prepare?
Um, I always do a series of vocal, facial, and physical warm-ups, which when I teach acting classes, that's one of the first things I teach actors, and this translates into daily life just to make sure that you can be heard and that you can be understood, eye contact. So I go through about a 15, 20 minutes um, ritual, if you want to say that, of different things to warm up my face, my body, my diaphragm, my breathing column. And then there's always, I always take some time before I go on stage to just think and spend time with the character that I've created to kind of get in touch with that person, because to me, as I develop them, they do become a fully realized person. So I always spend some time alone, just getting into touch with that person that I've created.
Okay, so no lucky socks or have to have a single meal.
No, I am not a superstitious person, so there are
Mhm.
definitely things throughout history, like you're not supposed to mention the play Macbeth if you're in a theater. It's supposed to cause a curse, and if you say it, you're supposed to go outside the theater, spin around 3 times, and spit through these fingers, and that is supposed to break the curse. But yeah, I'm not a superstitious person, so I'm fine with not doing that.
Okay, all right, that's the first. You actually kind of touched on it earlier, but I was going to ask you, what brought you to Warren County?
Uh, it was my mom and dad's. They are getting a little older, and my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So my husband Jeff grew up in Missouri, and we were getting very tired of the Toledo and Michigan winter. So we knew we wanted to move south. At that time, I was talking with some members of the board of directors at Lakeland about how to take it to the next level, how to kind of move it forward and bring another level of success to it. So uh, it fell into place. It was meant to be. The position was opened up to be artistic director at Lakeland, and so I moved down, and I'm so thankful that I did.
That's awesome. I know they greatly appreciate you being here as well, just like the community, especially
Yeah,
the arts community.
yeah.
So had you been to Warren County before the move or
Oh yes, yes. So
okay.
my parents had built their lake house about 12 years ago. So every 4th of July, the family would trek down and spend about a week down here, and I would come down for the holidays, of course. So pretty much every time we'd come, we would spend a day coming to Warrenton, eating at Robinson Ferry, going to the antique stores, spending time in Littleton, of course, visiting some of the other towns around. So I was already fairly familiar with Warrenton, but it wasn't until I moved here in November, and I've really come to appreciate the people and the resources that are here, as well as the exciting new things that are coming.
Right, right. And we're going to talk about that in a minute as well.
Okay.
So well, you've traveled back and forth between Ohio and Warren County, but what was the biggest difference between the two?
The I'm a foodie. I love to cook and I love to eat. So one of the biggest challenges for me was Toledo has a very large population of Hungarian, Lebanese, Indian, and they all have resulting restaurants. So that lack of the ethnic restaurants that I'd come to love, Indian. I love Middle Eastern food, different flavor profiles. So not having access to sushi, but Raleigh is only an hour and a half away. So about once a month or every 3 weeks, I would take a trek into Raleigh to get my fix. And then the lack of available live theater pretty much in the area. Lakeland Cultural Arts Center was about the only resource to go. So whereas Toledo, there were 8 or 9 different community theaters, professional theaters, or universities to get involved with. So that was one of my goals, was to create more opportunities for theater and arts.
Okay, so since joining Lakeland, what productions have you been involved in?
At Lakeland's?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I first started, I was in a show called It's a Scream, kind of a Halloween comedy. And then I directed several plays on Golden Pond. We created our own kind of memorial tribute to Patsy Cline called Crazy for Patsy Cline that I helped curate and kind of shadow directed. Another one of my goals is to increase the level of directors, stage managers, producers. So this was a wonderful performer and director, Caitlin Wright. It was her first time directing. And then I've directed several of what's coming up now in Warrenton is what I call a black box show. So we did the Zoo Story and see, gosh, you're testing my memory already. I've done probably 5 or 6 shows since I've been here, and then unfortunately with the pandemic, it has brought all live performances to a halt.
Yeah, unfortunately. And that was actually another question was, how is the pandemic affecting Lakeland?
Well, there's 2 things that are going on with Lakeland. The result of the pandemic, which we of course closed down all live performances due to the CDC guidelines, and then also we are going through a very major stem to stern renovation, which we are very excited about. We'll get a brand new lobby. The theater will be completely overhauled. We're going to be getting a movie screen and projector, so we'll be able to show movies. Our plan is to show first run movies as well as classics, possibly Saturday afternoon movies for kids. We'll be getting a new black box theater. An amphitheater is in the talks. The gymnasium, which was added to the school, and I think that the 20s has been already worked on, and that will be a community center.
Okay.
There's a lot coming. It's still a process. Things are in the works, so we're still making some decisions, but it's going to be bigger, it's going to be better, and it's going to be more inclusive for the entire community.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was the perfect segue. I want to share a story if you don't mind. Okay. Okay. So when I first met you, it was from the New Teachers Tour, which is it's an annual tradition where the Heritage Quilters and the Warren Education Fund, they provide a county-wide tour for Warren County schools, administrative staff, and new teachers. And so they're going around all over Warren County, and one of the destinations is the Lakeland Cultural Arts Center. And so that's where I met you.
Right.
And what stuck in my head about you in particular was that your commitment to providing quality productions that reflected the community.
Yes.
And then also, just recently meeting Peter Holloway, who's the executive director.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and his desire to diversify the board of directors. And I just want to commend you both for doing that. I greatly appreciate your efforts.
Well, of course, it's obviously the right thing to do. To understand that we are surrounded by a very diverse community, and to not represent every aspect of that community would be a shame. So we don't just want to represent; we want to celebrate everyone.
And we appreciate it. And just one of those productions, Mike Wiley. How he came out, and that was amazing, of course. Super talented man. Look forward to seeing him again at Lakeland, if possible.
Yeah, and we had him scheduled. We had him on the books until the pandemic hit. So as soon as we are up and running, we will definitely have him back. And yes, I agree. A fierce talent, great at making maybe a little less known figures in African American history brought to children in a fun and engaging way. He brings kids up on stage and strives to if it's a Black figure, African American figure, he'll bring up maybe a non-African American students, and so he's diversifying every aspect that he can. Kind of, I guess it's not really, I guess maybe race bending to give people a different idea, a different view into how someone might be feeling. And that's one of the great things I think about theater is its ability to create empathy and to allow people to talk about issues that they may be comfortable with, but when they can discuss them in the viewpoint of talking about a play, it gives them that barrier that they can talk about it without being threatened. I don't know if that's the right word, but I think it does. It allows people to see viewpoints and cultures that they may not be informed of or familiar with. So it's a really great way to start conversation, I think.
Right. It creates like this safe space.
Yes. That's a great way to put it. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And so, as someone who has had who has sat in multiple seats in the theater world, which do you prefer? Acting, directing, producing, or teaching?
I would say my first passion is acting. I think most actors we crave the spotlights, and for me, the rehearsal process is almost as rewarding, if not more rewarding, than being on stage. I love that collaborative process of bringing our own reality, of creating characters and exploring why they do the things they do. So the acting from the auditions through the rehearsal process all the way to the performance, and then second would be teaching. I love working with kids and adults, and just creating pathways for success and educating people on the importance of theater and just making sure they can be the best that they can be.
Okay. So also, as I mentioned in the intro, we touched on it before, you are an artist. So for people who have not seen your work, can you describe it and also share where we can view your work?
Of course. Yeah, so I started kind of my journey in visual arts fairly recently. About 10 years ago, I realized that I hate men's neckties. I just think they're just tight and they're ugly, and I'm like, why do women get to wear all the fabulous jewelry? So I started to create a line of what I called drops, where I would take found objects, keys, pieces of clocks, or I would create my own patterns cut out of stamped metal, and they would hang around my neck and kind of the same length as a tie. And that's slowly morphed and given me the confidence to branch out and do wall art. I've done some sculptures. I've had my own solo shows in Toledo. And so currently I show my art at a wonderful, fabulous art gallery called Artists of Elements. And that is in Littleton on Lizard Creek Road. It showcases over 20 or 21 artists, the majority of which are local. And it has all kinds of levels. I know when some people hear the word art gallery and they think, oh, I need to put on a gown and a tiara to go in, and it's not that. It's a community space where you can go and they've got cards and jewelry, so you can get something from $10 all the way up to several $100s depending on the piece. So check it out. It's the website is artistofelement.com. And I hope maybe Crystal can have a link. And that's also where we are doing the reading of Walter Cronkite is dead, which is, I'm sure, where you were going with that, Crystal.
Absolutely. Yeah. So tell me about the upcoming production, Walter Cronkite is Dead.
Sure, I would love to. Uh, so this is what I would call a black box show. So a black box is a term in theater as opposed to a big main stage that has a proscenium arch and it's a little more grander. There's usually a smaller theater off to the side, which is a studio theater or a black box. And it's just that. It's just four walls and a floor, and it's usually folding chairs or portable. And it's designed to do smaller, more intimate shows that are very focused on acting skills. They may tend to be a little more contemporary, a little more controversial than some shows that may make it onto a main stage. So this is one of those shows. It's called Walter Cronkite is Dead, although it really doesn't have anything to do with Walter Cronkite. So people that are like, oh, I don't care about Walter Cronkite. It's not that. It's not a bioepic about Walter Cronkite. It's two women, kind of from differing backgrounds, differing viewpoints. Both are stranded at the Ronald Reagan Airport during a thunderstorm. They share a table and start talking. So through talking about their differences, they kind of find out that they have some similarities. And the actresses that are doing it, Diane Leo and Terry Harris, are doing some outstanding work. It's funny, it's poignant, it's touching, and although it was written in 2010, it's still very relevant to what's going on in our world today.
Right. So who do you think would enjoy this?
I think anyone would enjoy it that likes a little humor, but also appreciates something to think about. There's a little bit of adult situations, nothing scandalous, nothing upsetting, but it's probably not recommended for anyone under 18. So if you appreciate theater, if you appreciate acting, this is definitely something you should come and see, because again, the actresses are doing some amazing work, and this is an opportunity to see them up close. You're 8 to 10 feet away from them, and I just took the CDC guidelines and moved everybody back to make sure that they are a safe distance away. But it's a wonderful, small, intimate show, and I think everyone would enjoy it. There's something for everybody.
Awesome. But as you said, there are certain situations or mentions, during the production. So if you're wanting to bring your little one, want to expose them to the arts, this might not be the one, just in case.
Right. And we will, once we get reopened, we will be doing shows specifically geared for younger audiences. And I don't mean to scare anyone off. This is there's one word and kind of one topic that they touch on. And neither of them are bad, but I would feel negligent if I didn't just give someone a warning in case that would upset them.
Well, that's responsible of you. We appreciate it. So how can someone purchase tickets?
Well, they can go to, if they want to come see the show at Artist of Elements Gallery this coming weekend, actually opening night is tonight. They can go to artistsofelements.com and click on the events tab, and it will come right up. And then if you're not able to make it this weekend, you can come next Friday or Saturday to the show in Warrenton at the Frontier Warren space. And I think that is frontierwarren.com.
Yes,
it is. Well, yeah, you know that. So,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so you can buy tickets online at either space. There will be, if you want to come a little bit earlier, both spots are having a kind of donation wine bar where you can get a nice glass of wine before the show. And then after the show, we will have a short discussion with myself and the actresses if there's something you want to talk about. Again, it's just a way to deepen the understanding about what you've just seen.
Okay, so if anyone wants more information about like your artistic endeavors or about Lakeland Cultural Arts Center, where do they go?
They would go to lakelandcac.org. lakelandcac.org. The website's a little light right now since we are not doing any other programming, but hopefully that will change. So it might be a good thing to like us. You can follow us on Facebook at Lakeland Cultural Arts Center. Give us your email. We are sending out announcements and updates as things get ready to open. And it's hopefully some things are going to happen soon. Again, just be patient as things are ever evolving, but it's all very exciting.
Right, and I've included all the links in the description, so people can just click, 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 and they're good. All right, so just to remind you, the shows are Friday, April 30th, and Saturday, May 1st, was here in Warrenton. And tickets are $15, and there are only a few tickets left, so it's about to sell out.
Yes.
Doors open at 6:30, and the show begins at 7. I'm good?
Yep.
All right. Okay. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much, John. Wish you all the best. Definitely, I will be checking out what's going on with Lakeland.
All right. All right.
Really excited about that. And so for more information about the Warrenists, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Warrenists. And I had a couple of people who left some comments. We have Carolyn Holmes said, "Hey, the awesome John DuVall." And I have, let's see, Leanne Patrick saying, "Looking forward to seeing you this weekend."
Two of my favorites.
Right, two amazing people. I love them both.
They are. Yes, they are.
So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.